안녕하세요. Welcome to my South Korea travel video. Usually I just make a travel montage, but this time round, my partner took so many videos, it would be a pity to not at least show you some parts of it. Let's go! I first traveled here in 2017 for a study abroad semester, and since then I continued to study Korean, and I'm super grateful for the people I met then. This time round, it was a month-long trip where I was able to work remotely as well, so thank you boss. And I also really wanted to experience autumn for the first time, so the longer duration really helped to increase our chances of seeing these beautiful fall colors during the season. Over the month, we will be traveling across a few cities in South Korea, beginning our stay in the capital city, Seoul. Together with my boyfriend, we landed at Incheon Airport, had some Lotteria burgers, and made our way to Seoul via the AREX train. It was a direct 45 minutes train ride to Seoul Station, which was the area we stayed at for the first week. The Airbnb there was in an older area, but it was super convenient to travel around from the Seoul Station. Also, the host was super kind and the facilities in the house were superb. It was just a few train stops away to popular locations like Hongdae. And while the first few nights were raining, that didn't deter us from going around to shop and sightsee. Also, not only was Seoul Station a good location for us to travel from, the neighborhood itself featured many delicious eating options too. Thanks to some pro tips from TikTok, we managed to order delivery too. The next day in Ikseondong, I used my first afternoon leave to meet up with my online Korean teacher. Jeju planned the meetup here and got me such yummy food. Even though it was our first meeting in person, she was so friendly and welcoming. I had such a great time hanging out with her. During the remaining nights, we visited two other locations. Myeongdong, the place was back and running, very tourist friendly and had tons of street food and souvenir options. We also went to Yeongdeungpo Times Square. Both the underground shopping and mall area were great. We stumbled upon delicious noodles for dinner too. Back at Seoul Station, we also caught this digital display on the building, which was kind of fascinating to me. With that, our part 1 Seoul stay was over, and it was time for us to move to Daejeon for the weekends. Daejeon is a city located in the middle of South Korea and is well known for its advancements in science and technology. After heading over to Daejeon via the KTX train, we met up with Sujin Sonsenim. She was my Korean tutor at KAIS during my exchange semester and was super excited to hear that I was heading over. We started with a road trip to the mountains. Over at Daejeon, we ate hearty food and then trekked to a waterfall. It was a healing experience and also a preview to all the treks that we will do over the next few weeks. After catching the sunset, we ended the first night with great night views at Starbucks overlooking Daejeon, and of course we headed over to check out the bridge in person, which also gave such great views of the area. And see all these videos of Suncheon in the background? They make some of the best bread in the country, and of course we ate here the next morning and the next morning. After breakfast, we went to KAIS to relive some of my exchange student days there.
We are in KAIS. where Rachel used to study. Yay.
For one semester.
That's right.
From the lake to the cafeteria to the hostel. Yeah, I used to gym there also. I had so many beautiful memories on the campus from when I studied there. Afterwards, we decided to take this trail right outside the hostel, which was a long walk cutting through another university before reaching back towards Kai's to get more bread from one of my favorite award-winning bakeries in Daejeon. We then explored the area which was having an event. Before heading back to the hotel. We then prepared to head out for dinner. Sujin Sam and her husband treated us to KBBQ. We somehow have no footage here, but it was super delicious. Sujin Song-Sing Nim was super kind and generous throughout our whole trip in South Korea, and we can't thank her enough. With that, the next day we bid farewell to the city and headed south towards Busan.
We will soon be arriving at Busan Station, the final destination of this train.
Busan is a city next to the sea, and we located ourselves at Haeundae Beach area, which is by far one of my favorite locations in Busan. I really enjoyed the vibes there. Here we continued working remotely in a hotel for a week with a view of the beach and the sea. There was also so much good food around, not just my favorite Daejeon club, but we had so many different types of amazing meals there. 소소하지만 굉장히 I was also really happy to partake in many of the amazing activities available here in Busan. Help. Before work, we went for activities like taking the beach train.
Ladies and gentlemen, the train is in operation between Haeundae and Ningbo. This stop is 달맞이 터널.
불비늘이 반짝반짝하는 걸 갖고 윤술이라고.
Operation of 11 o'clock.
And trekking Daejeon Park. After work, we also had activities like catching a film at BIFF, and 100% my favorite activity was going on the night cruise. 여기부터 It was so windy on the cruise, but the views were so beautiful. Okay, let's go.
피스타치오랑 말차입니다.
네, 감사합니다.
드세요.
맛있어요?
맛있어요.
맛있어요. Overall, Busan was fantastic and I will definitely be coming back here soon. For now, we are headed to Suncheon for the weekends via an intercity bus. Suncheon was one of the top destinations I wanted to visit because of the beautiful sceneries here. Its name translates to Shuntian, really fits how spectacular the sunsets were too. Though we did note that travelling around Suncheon was quite difficult due to the lack of regular buses, we had to forgo some places of interest as they were spread out across the city. Suncheon open film location was also quite interesting, but as we were not huge Korean period drama fans, it felt a little too foreign for us to fully appreciate. Moving back to the Suncheon Bay area, its National Garden was huge. We tried to take in as much as we could before sunset, and while we didn't get to see everything, we still had a good time checking out the different areas. The Suncheon Bay Wetlands Reserve is actually directly connected via a sky train, but as we went on separate days, we took the bus over. This place is highly recommended. Entering the wetland areas granted us such a nice view, and trekking up to the viewpoint just led us to increasingly magnificent sights along the way. And of course, we ended our day with one of the prettiest sunsets too. After working here for a few more days and trying some of our favorite food options, we then made our way to Yeosu via the ITX train. And so we arrived, stopped by the hostel and had a quick interview. Hello, where are you?
I'm Yeosu.
We only had one night here and we decided to explore Odong-do, which was an island park nearby. As a coastal city, Yeosu was just scenic and healing. We also went for a cable car ride in the evening.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, the sunset also. Whoa, can feel the wind eh, what the hell.
See the windows above us. Open.
Yes, yeah. The sunset views were insane, but I proclaim. So scary.
This is crazy. Hang on.
Oh, 네. After a quick snack, we headed for dinner along the shores.
다음 남산공원입니다.
And on the very next day, after a hearty breakfast, we headed to our next location and one of my favorite places, Jeju. Upon landing in Jeju Island, we headed to Seoul, a city in the south of Jeju-do. At the guest house, we continued working and had our meals nearby for the next few days. Then finally, we met up with Yeonmin and began our adventures around the island. Tonkatsu. I waited 2 days to eat. We traveled around by bus and taxi on the first day, visiting a small waterfall. We also had lunch at Seogwipo Early Market. And then tried to make our way to a tangerine farm where we had too many tangerines. We then ended our day with a little bit of black pork BBQ. The next day, we started early and went to Halasan. The taxi driver was driving real fast up the mountain to the starting point. As we were beginners, we decided on mid-level trails, heading up via the Orimoke hiking trail. This trail is quite doable with mostly stairs and varying scenery along the different parts of the trail. While we couldn't reach the top of Halasan via this trail, the views along the way and at the resting point were still breathtaking. After a quick snack break in the cold and admiring the others' well-prepared lunch sets, we decided to head down via Yeosu hiking trail. The start of this trail was insanely magnificent as we were above the clouds and it was the easiest part with mostly flat sections. Then it became really difficult for us with tons of rock paths. we just slowly made our way down. Afterwards, we were rewarded with beautiful autumn colours at a bridge near the exit. It was a great workout for the day and an experience that we hold close to our hearts. Finally, the next day we rented a car and went on road trips around the island. We had delicious green tea desserts, and braved the strong winds. We then made our way to Highland Park Botanical Garden. There were also birds there, but it felt kind of sad with the cages all around. In the late afternoon, we headed to Tochido Alpaca Ranch and had such a fantastic time interacting with the animals.
오케이, 없어. 바이바이, 안녕.
The next day was Games Day at 981 Park. We had tons of fun riding the gravity go-karts. The package included videos and I re-edited the 3 rides together. We also had a great time just trying out the other attractions. I don't know how to say. Finally, we had a late lunch and then went for a sunset trail at Kum Odem. This volcanic cone featured absolutely beautiful views even from the parking area and all around the Odon. Legit, one of the prettiest sunsets I've seen in my opinion. A great way to end our trip with Yeonmin, and after sending her off at the airport, we moved to Jeju City and checked out the Jeju Mysterious Road. After we failed to execute the optical illusion, we spotted an archery place. There, we had such a great experience learning and trying out traditional archery. We worked for the next few days and explored the city area. Then, after a hectic session at the airport, we were granted emergency seats and headed back to Seoul. We started our final part of the trip with traditional Korean experiences, including a homely hanok stay, trying traditional royal cuisine, eating at traditional markets, and exploring the beautiful palaces.
Nice.
We tour guide could find one interesting artifact to the king's mind. He feels like he got monitoring wherever he would go because it was a strict rule that no one.
I was also super excited to finally catch up in person with my Korean buddies. They were really caring and got us such delicious food. I had such a great time hanging out with them.
Here's the food.
My Korean friends and teachers really had the best recommendations. Many of the featured places throughout the videos were from them. And here's a testimonial.
This is one of the best meal I had.
8, 9, 8.
One of the weekdays, we went on our first day tour.
We are here at Garden of Morning Cow.
This place was stunning. The red lips was so vibrant and I had a short but fun time there. Then, we had a quick lunch and took the ferry to Nami Island. The place was actually pretty huge. We had limited time there, so we rented a tandem bike and took in the sights. Let's go! Woo! We are at Nami Island. Biking! This is like Ginkgo tree. Last, we went to Petit France, but it was rather underwhelming. After a bit more work, we ended our month's vacation in South Korea and headed back home. It was such a great time and I can't wait to be back.